Hi, and welcome to episode 51 of Tales of Yarnia. My name is Hannah, and I'm coming to you from Cheltenham in the UK, which is where I live with my other half, Jimmy, and our yellow Labrador, Jonah. So, this is a podcast all about knitting and crochet. I can now say it's including crochet, because we have got some this time. Knitting, crochet, spinning, and just anything relating to yarny, crafty goodness. So yeah, let's get going. Social media wise, you can find me as Yarnia Designs on Instagram and Ravelry. You can also find all of my knitting patterns available on Ravelry. But if you're currently struggling with using Ravelry, just send me an email or an Instagram message, and we'll figure out how to get information to you, or if you want to buy a pattern, we can arrange that outside of Ravelry. So yes, I think that's my intro. Yes. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to any returning viewers. I really appreciate you coming back. It's so lovely to talk to you all again. And thank you so much if you're a new viewer for giving my podcast a try as well. I hope you enjoy it and decide to stay with us. Okay, so straight on to the knitting. Or should I just say, I think last time I was still really struggling with my arm. I've basically got golfer's elbow in my right arm, and I was really struggling to get much crafting done. I think it was over a month ago that I last podcast. I was really struggling. I've been struggling with work as well and driving. And in the end, we've tried quite a few things with the doctors and nothing seemed to have worked. So yeah, I'm luckily now getting a bit of relief from it with my physio. I've managed to find a physio who can do in-person appointments, so that's really good, and it's really helping so far. So onwards and upwards, let's hope it continues in that way, because my knitting mojo and crafting mojo just completely plummeted for a while, as well as the fact that I was struggling to actually physically do it. The mojo kind of went along with it. So I just didn't really feel like being active on social media. So thank you if you're still around. And the mojo is back. So this is all good. And I've been really looking forward to talking to you all. So now we can get onto the knitting. So I've got some finished objects. I have 3, and one is massive. So I might start with the huge one, just because that's fun. So this is finished. This is my granny stripe blanket. I'm going to stand up because it's just so huge. Look at the squish. So all the different, I like seeing it folded up with all the different layers. So it's going to be really difficult to show you this. I'm just going to move this chair, and then I'm going to try my best to show you. So this is a quarter of it. And this is half. Oh, that's the full length. I don't know if I can do this because it's just going to be... Oh, I'm going to break something on the wall. But yeah, this is the blanket. I'll try and hold it all up. What? It is just huge. It's as wide as a king-size bed here in the UK. And it's long enough that it's a lap blanket for the sofa, so it can go... Yeah, so at the moment it's on the floor, and this is how high it reaches. If that helps. So So it is wider than it is long, but that just means it's extra cozy. And I just wanted it to be on the, originally I wanted it to go on our bed, but we're never really going to use a blanket on our bed because it just gets, we've got quite a thick duvet in the winter, so we're never really going to need it. Oh yeah, so this is the edge that I started with. So yeah, I decided in the end that I'd just have it as a lap blanket. So this is the edge I started with all those years ago, a couple of years ago probably. And sorry, that's Jonah chewing on his bone. Hang on 1 second. It's a little bit noisy. I'm sorry, but that's a little bit noisy. Okay, so that's the edge that I started with. I'll try and show you through all of the colours. So you can see when I first started, I was doing one colour per row, and then I decided I preferred the look of doing 2 rows per colour where it's possible when I had enough yarn. Oh gosh. Maybe if I start from the finished edge and I can gradually, so that's the finished edge here, and I tried to sort of do a bit of a fading through different colours. Ooh. This is not graceful or professional. Yeah, there we go. So I did decide to do, Jonah's now got the ball. I did decide to do just a crocheted edge. Don't know if you can see that. So that is just a, if you use US terms, it's a single crochet around the edge. And if you use UK crochet terms, it's a, did I say, I don't know what is that, but it was an SC in US terms and a DC double crochet in UK terms. Hopefully you can see that okay. But yeah, it's just that all the way around, and then when I came to the corners, find a nice corner. What did I do? I think I did, what did I do? Oh yes, I did 2 SCs into the corner stitch. Then I think I chained a few. I think I chained 2 and then did 2 more on the other side of that stitch. I don't know which corner it's going to be easy to see. Maybe I just did 1. No, I did. So I did an SC in the last stitch on the row, then chained 2, turned it 90 degrees, and then did an SC in the side. So I wasn't too careful about, I tried to sort of spread out the stitches evenly, but it's kind of difficult. So, but yeah, it's all worked out. And I'm going to sit down again. I think Jonah's nicked my spot. Yeah. Okay. Jonah, move your feet. Thank you. Okay, so I now have a big pile of blanket here, which I will fold up later because it's going to take me a while. Okay, so that's the huge FO that's taken me a few years. I think maybe 2 or 3 years. That was on oh, maybe more than that, it could have been 4. I don't remember, but it took a long time and it's now finished. So it's obviously still quite warm at the moment, so it's a bit warm to be using the blanket on the sofa, but it is living on the sofa, just all folded up nicely on top. So I'm really looking forward to the weather getting cooler so that I can use it. So yeah, that was one FO, but it's not my only FO. My next FO is a really special project. Excuse me. It's a really, really special project, and it is my wedding shawl. So it's now finished. I don't know if that's getting completely blown out. But this is the Landskein shawl, which is a pattern by Mary Ann Mace, I think. I always get her name wrong, I'm terrible. And I think she's called the Lace Eater on Instagram. And she does so many gorgeous, intricate shawl patterns. And so it's like a mixture of cables and lace. And then you have this picot bind off, which then you aggressively block to create this shape on the edge. And I'm so excited to wear this at our wedding. So for those who don't know, we are hopefully still getting married in November. We were only planning a small wedding anyway, with literally just close family. So we are hopeful that it will still go ahead. And I'm planning as if it is definitely going to go ahead. But there is that little bit of doubt in the back of my mind just because of the current situation and how crazy this year has been. So yeah, this is going to be with me on our wedding day. And I can, so I'm, yeah, it just nicely wraps around. Maybe you can see. Yeah, so it's exciting. And the yarn which I used was custom dyed for me by my lovely friend Sophie, who is Pixie Yarns. And she just happened to have some of this lace weight, which was, I think it was alpaca, silk, merino. It's super soft, and it's like it's definitely got alpaca. You can sort of tell from the sort of fuzzy, soft halo it has. It does have a slight halo, but nothing like mohair. I wanted something where you could still see the stitch definition, but it'd be really light and airy and soft. And this was just perfect. I just love it. It's just so pretty. I love it. And I'm trying to keep it all nice. And I might give it another block just before the wedding. But yeah, it's quite long. It's a lovely crescent shape. So it's quite a long shawl with not too much depth, which is nice. And yeah, I'm just really, really pleased with it. So I'm just going to pop it over there carefully. I'm going to be more careful with this one than with the blanket. Bear with me. And then I have one more FO to show you. And then we're on to some whips, which is exciting. Okay, so my last FO is a pair of socks. And this is a new design which I've been working on. And they are the Autumn Fern socks. So here we go. Dun. So I think I did show one of these finished the last time, but now I have a complete pair, so it's now officially an FO. Yeah, so I don't know which one to show you. I'll just put one down and then I can show this one a little bit closer up with the detail. So this is my first colourwork sock design, and I actually really enjoyed it. I found it so addictive because once you start doing the colourwork motif, you just want to get to the next bit and just see it all work up. So that I found really, really addictive to do. And yeah, so this pattern I will soon be writing up, ready for testing, and I'm hoping to release it in September at some point. I thought it would be a nice beginning of autumn design. So yeah, and yeah, I was hoping these were, well, they are fern leaves, but they do look slightly like trees as well. But I wanted them to be ferns. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how it's worked up. And then you have another little bit of the frond that goes the whole way around the sock. So yeah, the yarn I used, I think, was Eden Cottage yarns, and this is on a cashmere, I think it's on an MCN base, which I wouldn't normally use for socks, but because it's a design and I just really liked how the colours work together, I just decided to use it. So yeah, it's an MCN base. I think, I can't remember the colourway. I think it's called Red Kite. And the contrast colour, if it decides not to blow out, is Mr. B's yarn, and I think, is it Rust Spot? I can't remember. It's the first colour in this fade set. I forgot to tell you what I'm wearing. But yeah, it's the first colour up here on the fade set. It's the Rust fade set that they've done before. And yeah, so I'll just transfer over onto what I'm wearing. This is the Spectre sweater. I won't stand up because I have shown it before, but it's a full fade, just like on the arm. Goes all the way down like that. And I don't know how well you can see, it has a sort of textured cable yoke. It's not really cables, but I'll just call it a textured yoke. And so yeah, it's the Spectre by Hoagie Locatelli, and it's a really lovely sweater. So I would recommend, if you are in the market for a fingering weight sweater, which is, once you get past the yoke, it's quite vanilla knitting. It's just, even though it's mostly purl stitches on the outside, you knit the body once you get past the yoke. You knit the body and the sleeves inside out so that you're mostly doing knit stitches with the occasional purl. And yeah, I really, really, really love the fit of this. It's quite a fitted sweater, but it's got a couple of inches of ease. I don't know if you can see, but I don't want to stand up again because it'll disturb Jonah, who's sat like right underneath my feet. So yeah, this is the Spectre sweater. And these were the Autumn Fern socks, which is my final FO. And the sock blockers, my mum tells me where they were from every time, and I always forget. I'll try and find the name of the shop and include it in the show notes, which everything I talk about will be just down below in the description box. Okay, so that was it for finished objects, and we are now moving on to FOs. So what order should I show these in? I think if we carry on with socks, I'll show you these. These are living in a lovely little bag which was gifted to me by my friend Claire, who is one half of Mr. B's yarn and Bird Street UK. Lovely little bag. I just love this fabric. Living in here are a pair of socks. I've got one finished sock. Can't remember where I was up to the last time I filmed. Don't know, did I have one finished sock the last time? I will just take one of these off the sock blockers so that I can show you a little bit better. There we go. Here you are. So we have one finished sock, and these are going to be socks for Jimmy. And this is how far I am on the second sock. So still got quite a way to go. Maybe a third of the way through them. So maybe if I hold it this a bit. So I'm not far from the heel. And this pattern is not, I'm not following any particular pattern, it's just my usual vanilla sock recipe. And instead of plain stockinette, I am doing a 5x1 rib. So I'm just doing knit 5, purl 1 all the way around. I think, is that what I'm doing? Yes, that is what I'm doing. So, and then I've done my usual heel flap and gusset, which is my preferred heel of choice. I just find that's the best fit for me, and I don't think I've done this heel before for Jimmy, so I wanted to do this to see how it fit his foot and whether he prefers it to the afterthought heels, which I've done for him before. So, yeah. So the yarn I'm using, I'll just get the ball of yarn. I really, really love this yarn. And the colourway, it's beautiful. And it is from Chromatic Yarns, which is dyed by Hannah of Corner of Craft. This is her sort of, also her company. And that's the label. And it's on her sturdy sock base, which is 75% BFL, 25% nylon. And the colourway is Tresim, which I believe is a flying cat in Dungeons and Dragons. All of her yarns are inspired by Dungeons and Dragons, which is really cool. I don't actually play Dungeons and Dragons myself, but I am into all like fantasy, video games, books, films, and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely like an area that I'm interested in. So, and then the little progress keeper on here, which is an avocado, is also from Hannah of the Corner of Craft / Chromatic Yarns. And it's lovely little avocado. So yeah, we've gone for the full theme here. And if she did project bags, which she doesn't, I would have put it in a project bag made by her as well. But yeah, so sock is in progress. I'll just take this off so I can put it back in the bag. So yeah. So that's sort of how it works up with the rib. I quite like it. And then obviously for the bottom of the foot, I've not done the rib, I've just done plain stockinette on the bottom. Yeah. Oh, yep. Keep the label. Okay, so that is one of my whips. Another whip is living in another bag. which was gifted to me by Claire of Bird Street UK and Mr. B's yarn. And it's gorgeous. This did not come with it, but I added it on because I just thought it looked cool and jazzy. So I thought the colours went quite well. So I just added it on. I just love it. It's a huge bag, perfect for a sweater. And it does have lovely big pockets just on the inside as well to keep ball bands and all manner of things. You could fit so much in this bag. Oh, and it also comes with a little D-ring on the inside as well, which you can attach any like progress keepers and stitch markers to. So living in here is my sweater design, which I don't think I've named yet. And this is a collaboration with the lovely Emily of A Knit Away. I'll just show you the yarn individually. So we're using 2 different yarns of hers held together for the entire project. So we're using her singles base, which is 100% superwash merino, and we're using the iced mint colourway. It's just gorgeous with these little pops of purpley fuchsia. It's just amazing, and it's so soft as well. Here's her label. Okay, and then I'm holding that together with her Suri alpaca silk base, which is 74% baby Suri alpaca and 26% mulberry silk, and we're doing the rainy mushroom colourway. Just look at this blue. It is so soft. I absolutely love it. It's like knitting with clouds. So these 2 held together. And this is where I am so far. I am just working on the body of the sweater. I cannot remember where I was up to the last time I showed this. Okay, it was getting blown out there for a second. But yeah, I've gone for a raglan shaped sweater, knit from the top down. But I've also got some neck shaping in here so that the back of the neck is a little bit higher than the front of the neckline. It just tends to make it a little bit more comfy to wear. So I wanted to make sure that the fit was comfortable and nice. So only a slightly bit higher. I don't think people like it to be too much higher than the front. So I've just done a little bit of neck shaping there. And all over we have this texture, which isn't quite bubbles, they're more neps or nups. But they're quite fun to create, and I just thought just an all over texture would be nice and cozy for like an autumn winter sweater, because this will be super warm with the alpaca held together. Super soft, super cozy, and super warm, which is everything that you need in a cozy sweater. So, and then under the sleeves on the body, I'm doing this little lace panel here. Hopefully you can see. So yeah, keeping it fairly simple for the main body, just with some added little details like this. So I'm really enjoying working on this now that I've got a few projects off the needles, and I can give this my full attention. So there we go. Oh, and I have got another corner of craft progress keeper living on here, and this one's just a little bumblebee. There we go. Ooh, nearly losing a stitch. Hang on. Just squish this back on. So yeah. Kind of looks like a cable, but it's not. It is lace. It's going to be difficult to see until it's like properly finished and blocked, I think. But there you go. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this. It is just so soft. Can't wait to wear this. It's going to be beautiful, if I do say so myself. But yeah, so I've got a little way to go on the body yet. It's not going to be a cropped sweater. It'll be like a normal length sweater. So I have got a little way to go, but it's I don't have to follow my notes for the pattern for the body. There's no decreases or increases. It's just straight body, and the pattern I find easy enough to memorize with the bobbles. So yeah, and the lace. So I can just, it can be my TV knitting as I go round and round. So there you go. That is my sweater design. Pop that there. Then I've got two more whips to show you, but they're both crochet whips, which is exciting. So the first one, living in my Eldon Woodcraft Garden Birds bag, which is just super cute. I love them. I just love this fabric. It's just such a sweet bag. And living in here is my Water Clover t-shirt, which I think is a new project since the last time I filmed. I think this might have been an acquisition the last time. So here we go. This is by Stranded Dye Works, and it's on the, I think it's the Fingering Weight BFL base. And the colourway is Patisserie. It's just like a really light, cool pink. Well, mostly neutral, but like a creamy neutral, but with loads of sections of this lovely pink and some darker speckles as well. So, yeah, I started the Water Clover, which is a crocheted t-shirt by, I think, I'm not sure how you pronounce her name. Is it Isa Katapulan? I'm sorry if I butchered that. Let me just see. I think I was right. This is her Instagram. I'll include the name down below anyway. So yeah, so it was in an issue of Pom Pom Quarterly. I can't remember which one, but I'll include links and everything and the details. And as always, if you've got any questions about anything I'm making, just send me a message. So this is it so far, and it's this gorgeous, like, sort of star pattern. Sort of must look like a water clover. And I really love how it's working up in this colourway. I wanted something fairly neutral, but obviously with a little bit of speckling. and I think this is perfect. The pattern does call for sport weight yarn, but this base, the BFL base, is the yardage is makes it quite a thick fingering weight, so I thought I would just give it a go with that. As long as I got the right gauge, then it's not a problem. So she says, and she makes it and then it doesn't fit. But it should work out. As long as your gauge is right, then that's the key to getting a garment that fits. So yeah, I hope that's showing up the speckles. It's hard to see on the little screen in front of me, but yeah, it's the other side. Yeah, so not tons of progress yet, but I've made a start, and it's really nice to have a couple of knitting projects and crochet projects on the go. So just gives me a bit of variety, and yeah, I'm really enjoying how it works up. This one, it's a lot more brain intensive for me. So because each row is quite different from the last, so I'm not at the point yet where I can memorize the pattern. So, and I'm not as confident with crochet as I am with knitting, so it's a little bit more thinky, for lack of a better word. Yeah, I did also, I think this might be an acquisition, I purchased some, like a little pack of crochet hooks just from Amazon, and it says Fusion on them. But they've got this like ergonomic, nice handle, and partly because I didn't have the right size crochet hook for this project. I'm actually using a 2mm. I can't remember. I think she wanted you to use an even smaller crochet hook than this, but I'm getting the correct gauge with a 2mm, so that's what I've gone with. Okay, so that is my water clover. So there we go. I have one more whip to show you, which you have seen before, and it's my Battenberg blanket, which is a pattern by Sandra Cherry Heart, and it's living in this huge bucket bag, which was from Mrs. Brown's Bags. And it's just easy to chuck when you've got a scrappy project, just to chuck all of your scraps in and the project and keep it all together. So I'm pretty sure I've made some more progress on this since you last saw it. Oh, I love it. Love how it's working out. So I can't remember how many squares I had the previous time, but I've definitely been adding them. So I'll try and show you a bit closer. Yeah, I've been doing quite a bit of crochet recently, considering I finished the granny stripe blanket, cast on a crochet garment, and then also a new crochet blanket, because I feel I always need to have a crochet blanket on the go. They're just lovely, mindless knitting, and I love a scrappy project. You've always got a new colour to get excited about adding. So, blown out a little bit, but it's okay. And these are a ton of different scraps. A lot of them are Mr. B's yarn or Pixie yarns. Where else? There's just lots of different ones. Pigment and Ply. A few of the mini skein sets I bought recently have gone into here. So these purple ones that purple one, this pink one. Those are all definitely, oh, and the purple one just on the edge down there. Those are all from Pigment and Ply. And then the blue ones, so this one, where else? Where are you hiding? Oh, and these blue ones down here, that one, and that one. Those are all Mr. B's yarn from their Oceanus mini skein set. And then I've also got some from Pixie Yarn. And I've forgotten what set that was, but it was all pinks. I think that was one of them. I can't remember the name of the set. It must be here somewhere. I don't know what I've done with it, but it's just lovely little. Some of them are like neon pinks and some of them are much more neutral with splashes of pink, which I really love. They're just so pretty. That one, that one, that one. There's another one here, and I think I stole another one for a different project. So it's these sorts of colours. Aren't they just so pretty? Jonah, be quiet. Thank you. Good boy. Yeah, these sort of pinks and purples. So yes, those pinky purple ones right at the bottom there are from Pixie Yarns. And then a few are just sort of other random scraps, which I can't remember, but some are left over from my Dandelion and Dogwood advent calendar from nearly 2 years ago. Just using up. You can use up the smallest pieces of scrap yarn in this. I think you need only, it's less than 2 grams for one of these squares. So it's really handy for using up tiny amounts of yarn, which you wouldn't otherwise include in anything. So yeah, it's really, really good. Really enjoying it. And I love how it's working out. I am sticking to my colour scheme, which is mostly blues, pinks, purples, with a couple of other pastel-y colours, but I'm steering away from oranges and reds. So it's more pinky tones. Just because I wanted to have some sort of colour scheme. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And it's just a really nice relaxing project to have on the go. So that is that. And my contrast colour, I am using King Cole Comfort 4-ply. Yeah. Okay, so those were all of my works in progress. And I just have one other thing to show you. Sorry, Jonah's just getting up and moving around. I think because the sun has just come out. Yep, he's got to go and lie in a patch of sun on the floor instead. So yes, as I was saying, I've got one more thing to show you, which is a bit of spinning. And without further ado, I have finished some hand-spun. I'm really, really pleased with this. So it's hard to tell from the skein, but it's actually a gradient yarn. So if I caked it up, you would see it's dark, like the black. It's almost a black. It's the darkest colour. And it would fade all the way out to this bright light blue. So it is a complete gradient. I kept it as that whilst I was spinning. And it's turned out to be a 4-ply, or fingering weight yarn, sorry, because it's a 2-ply. So the way I did it was I split it came as a braid of fibre, so one massive long snake of fibre, and I just split the entire thing down the middle as evenly as I could, so that I had two big strips that did had the complete gradient. So, and then I just spun them straight from those two long snakes. So then I applied them together, and it's created one yarn which is a complete gradient. So I was thinking this might be really nice for a shawl at some point. I think it's sort of a heavy fingering weight, so could possibly use it for a sport weight project if that was what I needed. I might be thinking of what's it called by Andrea Mowry, the cowl, which is the shift cowl. I think that's what it's called. And there's also the night shift shawl. I think that requires more yarn, so we'd have to see. Yeah, I really love the colours, and the fibre was from Hilltop Cloud, who is based over in Wales, I think. And what was the content of it? It had rose in it. Why have I not kept ball? And might be just over here. Let me just see. Got it. Okay, so it is 50% Corriedale, 25% yak, and 25% rose, and it was 100 rounds. I did have a little bit left over on one of the bobbins, because I must have not completely evenly split the braids, but that's what happens when you do it a little bit slapdash. I mean, it also might depend on whether one of my bobbins had been spun at slightly thicker yarn, one was slightly thinner, so it could also be that. But yeah, I'm really pleased with it. Just have to maybe pair it with some of my other hand-spun and think of a project. But there's always so many things to cast on and not enough time to work on them all. So I'm not casting anything new on at the moment. But now I've said that, it's probably going to happen. So I just need someone to rein me in and tell me to just focus on my current projects, which I am planning on doing. I have still got a couple of other knitting projects which are still on the go, but I just haven't made enough progress on them to show you. So my Susu, which is the DK weight t-shirt that I'm using Mr. B's yarn in the Merlin colourway for, and it's very heavily cabled, and it's knit flat, so I'm working on the back piece. I've made a tiny bit of progress on that, but I'm finding the cables are quite hard on my arm, so I've been gravitating more towards looser gauge projects, which are a little bit easier and require less tension. So that one I have not made much progress on, but I love it so much. But hopefully we'll get there as my arm improves. So that's one project. The other one, which is also a sort of a DK worsted weight and is knit at a very tight gauge, is the Albion sweater, which I'm knitting for Jimmy in Brooklyn tweed. And that has not had much progress made on it, but I also love that project, but it's just knit at such a tight, dense gauge that I'm struggling with my arm to knit that one because it was just more pressure. So those projects I will eventually get back to, but in the meantime, I'm embracing working on what I can, and I hope that means I can get my sweater design, get some huge progress done on that, and then get that written up. But it's all about having enough time to do everything, so I'll do my best. Okay, so I think that was everything that I had to share with you. I think so. Yeah. So it's been really, really lovely to chat with you all. I really would love to know what you've been up to and what projects are bringing you joy at the moment. What are you working on? What are you planning to cast on? That's always exciting as well. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below, and I hope you have another lovely couple of weeks. Hopefully until I can speak to you again without it being too long. So I'll wrap it up. Look after yourselves, stay safe, and happy crafting.